Hey, what's up, everybody? Scott and Rebecca here. Okay, we're going to get right into it. So the new Taylor Swift documentary just came out on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of thoughts about it. And I know Rebecca is interested in the documentary, but you're interested in how it's going to maybe change your thoughts or how you're going to respond to it.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see if I have a different opinion about it on the other end. Full disclosure, I absolutely love Taylor. She is always my top streamed artist. Can literally sing any and all songs. But I don't know, I do not find that she's overly authentic. And so I'm just interested to see if this documentary changes that at all, because obviously it is going to portray her in a particular light, presumably flattering. But even the trailer, though, didn't you find the trailer, she was just kind of coming across as whiny?
Yes.
I'm like, okay, you're trying to make me want to watch this documentary. And I'm a huge fan of yours. And I do want to watch it. But I'm also like, do I want to watch it?
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy.
So what do you think? What do you think overall about Taylor?
I think she's extremely talented. I think that she's capitalized on something that's simple. It's not actually simple though. She just makes it seem kind of effortless. And I think that she creates extremely relatable music. If you are breaking up with your boyfriend, Taylor's there. If you're pissed at your boyfriend, Taylor's there.
If you're in love with your boyfriend, Taylor's
she's there. Yeah, exactly. So on that regard, I think that she's an extremely talented artist. But I do think that there is something about her that I feel is fake. A couple of weeks ago, also when she accepted Artist of the Decade, she did make reference to that. She was like, you would never say that about a man. You would never say, there's just something about him that I don't like. Which honestly, I found that was extremely uncomfortable, because I am a huge fan of her, but there is something about her that I don't like. But I was like, it has nothing to do with her being a female. I just think it's
she took a big hit. She took a big hit with that whole Kim and Kanye thing. And I found it very interesting, in the trailer for the documentary, where she talks about how, nobody physically saw me for a year. Mm-hmm. And I'm presuming that's after the fallout of the whole Kim and Kanye thing. Yeah. Because the entire internet was coming after, and the whole snake, the whole, calling her a snake, essentially the whole snake emojis. Yeah. And it did end up being a bad look for her.
Yeah. But it was a bad look because she made a point of standing on that stage and accepting that award and saying there are going to be people that try and take credit for your work, and this award is for you, and da-da-da-da-da.
Right, and I wasn't consulted about this song, and blah, blah, blah. And then they put out the receipts and put out that video
Absolutely.
of Kanye and her talking on speakerphone, and it's oh.
Yeah, and
wow.
It's look, who knows? She may have actually been misinformed. She may have understood it as one way.
Right, maybe there's an earlier version. Who knows? We don't know the exact specifics.
But it did come across as conniving, and then she referenced that also in the Artist of the Decade Award. She said that people thought that she was manipulative rather than just being a smart businesswoman. And there's no doubt about it that she's a smart businesswoman. Look at her. She's the top earning female artist, if not artist. But I guess I just wish there was a little bit more appreciation. Rather than being starting the trailer and being well, there's no one that actively hates me in the audience. Why don't you be forget all the haters, forget the drama. I don't care about what people are saying on Twitter. There are people that physically came out on a Friday night to see me, and that's who I'm singing for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I find it very interesting because like you, Taylor Swift is one of my favorite artists. I like all of her music. Her old country stuff, incredible. Like one of the country songs that I wrote, I used, Back to December as the production reference for the demo basically let's make it sound like this.
Yeah.
Her pop transition, amazing. Like how many artists can do that and then be so successful with it. But I do find her, always complaining and, seemingly always unhappy. And I find it interesting. Like, to me, it's like a microcosm of, or maybe a macrocosm of this idea that, you're never going to please anybody. Like, no matter how big you get, there's going to be people that like you and people that don't like you. And the haters, seem to have gotten to her. Mm-hmm. So even though she's the big, one of the biggest artists in the world, one of the most successful people on the planet, she seems to really be hung up on the people that don't like her, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. I do understand it from the point of view of like, you're gonna be like, oh my God, you're talking about evolution again. We're wired to like, live in smaller groups and, we don't like when people don't like us. Mm-hmm. And so with the internet, we have to, if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to develop this new immunity and be okay with the fact that there's going to be lots of people that don't like you or don't like what you're doing.
But it's almost like imposter syndrome, like personified, which is sad because she's not an imposter. Like she's extremely
she's the real deal.
Successful. Yeah. And like
she's an amazing performer, amazing singer, amazing songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I'm very interested though, because despite what it may sound, I am going into watching the documentary like with an open mind. And I do actually hope that on the other end, I'm kind of like, no, I'm seeing a different side to Taylor and it's not just so fabricated. I think that originally I was like, okay, like you're like extremely talented for being a young artist. And then I kind of grew up with Taylor. And then I also found that then I was like, okay, like you made like such a successful transition. And like, now I guess we're going to see you kind of enjoy it. Like as you get older, like, when you're younger, you always do have that notion that you're trying to be cool. So maybe she was always trying to fit in. But honestly, like it just kind of strikes me as it's almost like she wasn't a cool kid and now she's trying to prove that she's a cool kid. One thing also that I never got behind was the whole like girl squad after the Katy Perry thing. Like if you want to be like hanging out with like the hottest models and like all the it girls, go for it. But I really found that it was like trying to show like, oh, these people are coming to my party. They're not going to your party. And I definitely found that was catty.
Yeah, you're talking about the whole phase of like during her tour, every stop she would bring out somebody different, famous celebrity, sports figure, music figure, actor, actress.
Yeah.
People would go.
But she was associated with like a certain girl group. And, they were part of being Taylor's squad. Like she essentially created squad goals.
Right.
And that whole
so you feel like she was kind of like, that was her way of putting it in Katy Perry's face and being like, I'm friends with these people. They're my friend and they're not your friend.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, but anyways, we'll see. But like, just the trailer, like, come on, like, you have this huge documentary on Netflix and like you choose to show that like, oh, poor me. Like, really, Taylor? Like, and I know that people slut shame her, like talk about all of the people that she dates and like blah, blah, blah. But like she also capitalized on that as well. Like I bought into it, of course.
She's made an entire career.
She's made an entire
breakup songs or songs about the people she dates.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not own it? Not why are you complaining about it?
Exactly. I own it. I totally go through and I'm like, oh, this track's about Harry Styles. Oh, this track's about Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, if you want to do a deep dive, like, I'm all there for it. Like, I've read all the articles. You know what I mean? Like, I own that I, like, read that. So why can't you just be like, yeah, like, this song was about John Mayer and da-da-da. Like, it's your life. You're allowed to write and do whatever you want. But we'll see.
Cool. What's it called?
Miss Americana.
Miss Americana.
So the song Miss Americana, people are saying that actually potentially it's about the whole Scooter Braun thing. So that also will be interesting. I wonder if there's going to be more information on that. But the trailer, it looks like they definitely touch on like how she started speaking out about politics and then how she like disappeared. And I think it'll be super interesting. Like, that speech that she gave when it really outlined, like, you wanted this, so then I gave you that. And then you said you didn't like that and you wanted this. And so I gave you that. And it's like, wow, that was actually a crazy breakdown of the progression of your career. And it is true. But I think what's interesting is that as the consumer, as the fan, I never was like, oh, people are saying you write too many breakup songs, so you're going to write a whole album that's not about breakup songs, because guess what? It's more important what the fans think than that person on E! News.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
Write more songs about Harry Styles. We want to know.
There you go.
What happened?
Miss Americana on Netflix now. Let's go watch it. And then maybe we'll share some thoughts.
Definitely.
Afterwards.
Maybe I'll be swayed. Who knows?
Okay. So what did you think?
Okay. So we just watched the documentary.
Just watched it.
It was like, it was one of those, I'm like speechless. I totally intended to like put it on, pay close attention to it, but also like be on Insta. And I like didn't even pick up my phone the entire time. Like I legitimately can't remember the last movie that I like had phone down, computer closed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, frankly, it made me fall in love again with Taylor Swift.
Oh my God, you were obsessed.
Yeah. For me, it really like helped me reconnect with like her artistry and her songwriting, and seeing her like in those writing sessions with everybody and writing all the songs, and like just connected with me as like a songwriter. And I know the joy of that. And I think a comment you made was she seems like she's the most happy when she's in the studio writing songs. And I agree with you. Yeah.
By far. Like she honestly seemed like a completely different person. Like I actually feel like that is when she's herself, like when she's like authentic. And like that's what I was saying before. Like I feel like she's kind of like fake, not genuine, like contrived, like very like doing what the people want to do, or what they want. But when she's like writing, she's just like having fun. Like she seemed like a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good because like as a Taylor Swift fan, like I knew that she like wrote her music, and she would like even add little things to the end of albums. Like, she had like a sound or whatever, like a particular beat. But I think a lot of people don't actually realize that like that's the songwriting process. So that was like super interesting to see. And yeah,
there's no doubt she's a master of songwriting. She has command of her craft.
Totally.
You see her, let's put this like little Dylan-esque thing in here, or, Brendan Urie, when you're singing this line, why don't you do this? Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. She totally like storyboards it. Like,
Yeah. Well, why don't we start at the beginning then? So I think we kind of nailed it when we were talking about how, okay, so look, this is a girl who's grown up as a superstar, essentially, from the time she was 13. And, she talked in the documentary about the type of approval that she craved. When she was happy was when she got external approval and validation from other people. And she was happiest when she was getting a pat on the head and, that was great, or you're doing great kind of thing. And then as in, the whole Kanye thing was the first time that really...
Yeah. And I thought that was so interesting. She'd gotten
a significant amount of negative feedback from like, the world or strangers.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was so interesting because that's something that I saw happen live. But then when she said that she thought people were booing her versus booing Kanye, I was like, oh my God, I actually never even considered that.
Right, because even after he left the stage, people were booing and standing up in their seats and making thumbs down signs.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was wild to me that she was like, I internalized that.
Yeah.
And that began this period of
Yeah. It's so interesting too how like Kanye and her have been actually like quite intertwined.
Right.
From a business perspective, they totally have benefited from that.
Totally. Well, I completely forgot about the fact I'd forgotten about the interruption at the MVAs.
Okay.
And that, Taylor Swift was already a household name in country.
Yeah.
But outside of country, she wasn't like a superstar. That kind of helped catapult her to superstardom.
What, him coming on stage?
Yeah, at that point, I think that.
I mean, she was winning a VMA. Like, she already was successful.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Like, all the late night shows were talking about it. Like, that's the moment that people remember.
What did she win for? What song was it?
I think it was Album of the Year because he said that Beyonce deserved it. Maybe it was Song of the Year. It was one of the major ones.
Video of the Year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because he was like, Beyonce had one of the best videos of
Yeah,
all
maybe
time.
that's what it was. Yeah. But like, you are being rapped about in a Kanye West song. Like, Kanye calling someone a bitch is like pretty tame. Like, I understand like seeing this, like how like that word's triggering for her and like da-da-da. But it was good gossip. Yeah. It's interesting though. They did talk about that. Like he did come up twice. And the whole VMA thing, it really felt like that kind of influenced her, like influenced what she was going to do. Like it actually like really.
No, it was hugely impactful.
Yeah. Whereas for Kanye, I don't think Kanye really cared.
Right.
Like,
well, I think he got a lot of backlash for it as well.
Right.
And I think that was the period, that was like after his mom died, he had drank a lot that night. And I think he made some kind of did he ever make some kind of, I feel like he made some kind of an apology for it or.
I think so. Like, I thought that they were like on okay terms. And then the whole famous thing happened. But, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hashtag Taylor Swift is over party.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that.
And like, that was the first like over party. Cause like now, like they do that every single day.
Right.
Maybe they'll
Oscar
do that
the
for
Grouch
us.
is over party.
Oh my God. Seriously. Yeah, no, I thought the documentary though, it was like totally gripping. It really went through the different stages and I really liked how you saw her grow and then you like kind of got a sense like, okay, this happened and then that happened and like this is kind of like why she is where she is.
Yeah.
She seems way more confident now.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Because one of the things I thought was like, okay, before we watch the documentary, we can criticize this or that about Taylor and, this may or may not be valid criticisms. But watching the documentary, I'm like, this is also kind of an eminently normal response to a normal person being put into the limelight and superstardom. I mean, she's actually I kind of think she's pretty balanced given everything given the kind of life that she's lived.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she spoke about her eating disorder and like how criticism
what did you
impacted
think about
her.
that?
I hate to say that I'm not surprised, but I'm not surprised. Like just the external pressure that people put on celebrities is absolutely insane.
Right. And she was like, well, if I'm too skinny, I don't have like the ass that people want. And if I have enough weight on to have an ass, then my belly's too big.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, I bet you most celebrities have had some sort of eating disorder or currently have some sort of eating disorder. I'm kind of impressed though. At least they didn't show it, but it doesn't seem like she does like alcohol or drugs or anything like that. So who knows, but
it sounds like an after school special.
I know. I'm like, don't you put it in your mouth.
Youth pastor Rebecca. She's a wholesome one.
Oh my
Taylor
God, though, the
Swift.
cats, they went everywhere.
Oh, yeah, she loves her cats.
Oh my God, I
want to live in like a cat backpack like that.
Right?
That cat has a bomb-ass life.
Yeah.
I was saying during the documentary, 3 cats?
Yeah.
Remember when I was like, this cat has probably seen more
Oh my God,
in the world
than
any cat in the world.
I just thought it was funny. Like they were having like a serious conversation and the cat was just there like, meow. And I'm like, really? Like, get the cat out of the room. Put it in its space bag. Toodaloo.
The cat had to vote.
Yeah,
What do you think, Whiskers?
Yeah. It kind of seems like she's going to be more political. Like it seems like that's kind of the trajectory that she's going for. And I think that she kind of was apprehensive about speaking out and saying that she was Democratic at first. But then if you think about it, if you go back to the very beginning, people were so happy that she did that and they patted her on the head, if you will. And so then now she's talking about it more. So like, I know that we all strive for people to like us, but it seems like she really strives for that. And
by her own admission.
Yeah. But even like the fact that she like spoke about it and then continued to speak about it and then that influenced all of the different actions. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. And, like Taylor Swift isn't perfect, but she doesn't have to be.
No.
Neither am I, know?
Yeah. But I think that's also like a question that a lot of people struggle with because she said in the documentary.
The hypocrisy, I think, is what, if any, I think.
Hypocrisy in what regard?
Well, she's singing songs about people being narcissists and, she could be considered a narcissist.
Could be?
Well, I feel like, yeah, right. I mean, almost anybody in, the public, like any kind of artist or actor on that level.
I mean, the reason that I say could be, just to clarify, is that she said that her albums are essentially her diary and it's all about her. Mm-hmm. So I do think that she's quite an egotistical writer. Like she writes from her perspective, how people impacted her, One of the kind of few songs where she like apologizes is Back to December about Taylor Lautner.
Right.
But other than that, it's kind of, amazing. Other than that, though, it's kind of like, oh, this happened to me or whatever. So, yeah. I was going to touch on something, but I can't remember. Maybe I should be like Taylor and writing my notes down. Speaking into the phone all the time. I really liked all the home videos. Oh my God. Dating myself. Just like all the iPhone shots. I don't know. I just felt like that was more authentic. And like in the back of my mind, I was like, were you filming this because you knew you wanted to do a documentary at some point? Or did you just have that because that's the life you live?
Probably both. I mean,
maybe she wanted the receipts. That's how Kim and Kanye got it.
True.
Yeah, totally. But no, all in all, like I thought it was good. I think I honestly feel the exact same way about Taylor Swift as I did before and after watching the movie. But I mean, I'm a huge T Swift fan. Like, I do think it's kind of a little bit hypocritical to touch on what you said, that she's kind of like, oh, people like want to know everything about me and, comment on my life. But like, you have made a living off that. Like, you are notorious for leaving Easter eggs for your Swifties to find. You know what I mean? Like, people want to know about your life. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying don't be upset that people are then going to comment.
Yeah, well, it's like when, they were commenting about a couple paparazzis being outside and she was leaving her house or going from the plane to the SUV. It made me think about the fact that, if you're a famous person, you're an economic activity generating, machine in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, you might not like the fact that people are taking your pictures all the time, but it's still, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You basically, what I'm saying is you have to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no other way than to just accept it and try and make your peace with it. If you have your own
business, you need to do your own accounting or you need to hire someone.
Right. Like, if you're a pop star, you want attention. Like that's the whole game, unless you...
I mean, I know that the paparazzi, especially in LA, obviously, are super notorious and they're very pushy.
Yeah,
it's
and
not,
the invasiveness
respectful.
is... Right.
Yeah. And it would be absolutely insane, but
and that overlaps
totally agree. Like, that's why, like, to the Kardashians' credit, even though people want to still take photos of the Kardashians, they post so much that, like, I'm not going to TMZ to see what the Kardashians are doing. I'm just going to watch one of their 15, like, stories they posted in the last hour.
Right.
So they are kind of actually, like, taking control of it.
Right. Instead of waiting outside their house, it's like, oh, come into my living room.
Yeah. Yeah. I also feel, though, like, I do feel like going back to Taylor, she seemed way more confident. So I think that she's, like, being, like, quote unquote more authentic. Obviously, her relationship with, like, Joe, she's, like, totally, like, in love. She also was growing up, like, comes with the territory, the maturity, but maybe she's actually, like, talking about stuff that she's, like, more passionate about. But again, stuff she's talking about, she's still getting that pat on the head. So it's like, now I know what her carrot is. Yeah. Yeah.
But amazing musicality. It was great to see her with, like, Max Martin. And
yeah. It was so cool to see, like, all the songs develop and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Her writing chops lyrically and, melodically and knowing what works for her too and works for her voice.
Yeah.
Like, you can see her, throwing
wheels
in the tricks
working.
And see the wheels.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They didn't touch it all on the Scooter Braun thing.
No. I wonder if production had wrapped by that time.
Yeah. Or maybe they couldn't. Maybe there's something else going on.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, that was another kind of situation where, she kind of came out.
See, I think that was fair. But see, I think that's fair because that's actually like, this is my work. And she allegedly tried to purchase it and was either declined or whatever. So
yeah, I think she was given notice a few days before and given the option to purchase it, but then she claimed she wasn't. And there's a bit of a he said, she said situation, I think.
Okay. See, in my opinion, it's like that is your life work. And if you want to own it, especially if it's being sold to someone that you don't respect or you've had a disagreement with or whatever.
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's got to be the tough part. If you sign a record deal, I mean, she became Taylor Swift on her own merit, but also with this incredible music industry machine to help amplify her and make her the best version of herself, get her music out there, advertise. So,
but now she
signed a contract that made her that helped make her famous.
Yeah,
and it makes sense that they own those masters. But at the same time, I could totally get if they're being sold to somebody who you have a personal issue with, like, oh, that person owns all of my like heartfelt life's
especially if they're being
work.
Sold at a particular time when you actually have the economic freedom that you can purchase them. So, I mean, that's what I was going to say beforehand about like how it's kind of a little bit like hypocritical because I find like she is saying like she wants to speak about these things and it's like obviously something that she's passionate about, like talking about like politics and gay rights and all of that, which is great. But then it's almost kind of like she said before, like she didn't want to get involved, like, don't you just want to hear me like sing songs? And so now she is speaking out, but I think she also still has that like mentality inside, like, oh, I hope I'm saying the right thing and that these people actually like think this is like the right side of history, as she explicitly said. So,
right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy though.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Yeah. As far as music documentaries go, like I think that was probably like one of my favorites, but I mean, I'm obviously biased because I like Taylor Swift, but yeah.
Same. Okay, so you're about the same. I like her even more now. So that's where we landed.
Totally keep in mind, like, if someone was like, who's your favorite artist? Like, Taylor Swift would be up there within like the top 5, if not 3. So, like, even though I've been kind of like criticizing her and ripping her up and stuff like that, it was on her personality, which is like way worse. I'm sure she probably would be like, oh my God, hate my music, but don't hate me. But what she does is like incredible, and like she totally like is essentially like the Lindelof in terms of like music and like knowing what she wants. Like when she was talking to like, who was it, like Brendan Urie, when she was talking to him and she was like, oh, I just have this little idea for the music video, and then she actually like had already storyboarded it. So like that side of her, like she seems like absolutely great.
Yeah, she's a creative phenomenon.
Yeah. And I think that
nobody's ever said no to her too much in her life.
I mean, who knows? But she obviously knows how to make a record. But it's the public persona that I don't like. It's not even like her personality that I don't like. It's like I'm just trying to be perfect. Like, just don't be, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
I think that's a good spot to end it.
Definitely go watch it on Netflix. It was awesome.
Catch you later.
Toodaloo.